Okay, listen. You are not ready for how wild the ending of Ginny and Georgia Season 3 actually is. Like, I thought I was watching a teen drama with some edge, but no. This finale? It hits you in the chest and doesn't let go. The trial, the lies, the confessions, that phone call, every single thing just explodes at once. But the real question we're all dying to know, is Georgia actually found guilty of murder? Or did she somehow twist the truth one more time and walk away clean? Let me tell you something, what happened in that courtroom shook me. We've seen Georgia lie. We've seen her kill. We know she's done bad things and somehow made us root for her anyway. But this is different. Because this time, it's not just her in the fire. Ginny and Austin, her kids, they're part of the lie too. And it hurts. It really does. You sit there thinking, wow, this is what survival looks like when you've been broken your whole life. So here's what went down. Georgia's on trial for murdering Tom Fuller. And yeah, we all know she did it. No doubt. But in the final episode, little Austin, sweet, scared Austin, takes the stand. And what he says changes everything. He claims that it wasn't Georgia who did it. He says it was Gil, his abusive dad, who snuck in and did it for revenge. Like, out of nowhere, that's the story. But here's the messed up part. That story? It's not the truth. It's not even close. It's a lie that Ginny cooked up, because she heard Simone tell her dad that Georgia was gonna lose the case without another suspect. And Ginny, man, she snaps into protect mode. She asks Austin to lie under oath. Think about that. This kid, who already saw way more than he should have, is now being asked to save his mom. By becoming her. And Austin. He says yes. He agrees to do it. Not because he really understands what he's doing, but because that's what happens when you grow up in chaos. You start thinking lies are love. That pain means protection. And you know what's even more heartbreaking? He doesn't just lie. He helps build the lie. He gives it weight. He says Gil had a motive, that Cynthia messed up his housing application. It's not just a little fib, it's a crafted story. And who teaches him how to do it? His sister. Ginny. The same girl who once ran away from her mom because she was scared she'd become like her. And now, she's doing exactly that. That part destroyed me. Because you realize, this isn't just about one murder. This is about how trauma gets passed down. Georgia used to say, I do bad things so my kids don't have to. But now? They are doing the bad things. For her. Austin lies in court. Ginny manipulates an adult. And Georgia, even though she didn't plan this, lets it happen. She doesn't stop it. She lets them become her. And yeah, it works. Georgia walks free. Not guilty. The courtroom gasps, the press loses their minds, and the internet crowns her the mayoress murderess. But back at home? It's not victory. It's not relief. It's just broken. Ginny feels sick. Austin's confused. Georgia promises to get therapy. She promises she won't kill again. But you can tell, that promise doesn't fix anything. It just sits there, heavy and hollow. And then you realize, this whole time, we've been watching a story that isn't about winning. It's about damage. Georgia's damage. Ginny's damage. And how love, in this family, is messy and dangerous and sometimes poisoned. But they still cling to each other like that's the only thing left. And maybe it is. Oh, and if you think that was the peak of drama? Nope. There's so much more. Because guess what? Georgia's marriage? Totally collapsing. Paul finds out everything. The lies, the secrets, the fake pregnancy, yeah, she faked one to keep him from leaving. And when he learns the truth, he snaps. He storms out. Tells her she ruined his life. Tells her he doesn't even recognize who he is anymore. And you know what's scary about Paul leaving? It's not just the end of their relationship. It's how Georgia reacts. She doesn't cry. She doesn't chase after him. She just stands there, numb. Like she's been here before. Like she expected this. That's when it really hits you. Georgia doesn't know how to be loved without lying. She thinks love means keeping secrets. So when someone finally sees the real her, she shuts down. But there's more. Because Joe, Joe, the guy who's been hanging around, quietly being there, showing up with coffee and compassion, he steps in. He starts visiting Georgia during the trial, during her lowest moments. And you can feel it, that pull between them. It's been there since season 1. And this time, it's real. They kiss. They hold each other. But in the end, Georgia backs away. She tells him, I just want it to be me and the kids for a while. And honestly, that moment was kind of beautiful. Because for once, Georgia isn't running to someone to feel safe. She's choosing her family. She's choosing to face the mess she made instead of hiding in a new romance. But still, there's a twist. In the last few seconds of the finale, Georgia mentions she's craving milk. And Ginny, with that look in her eyes, she knows what that means. Because every time Georgia was pregnant, she craved milk. So yeah, another bomb dropped. Georgia might be pregnant again. And we have no idea who the father is. Joe? Paul? Someone else? And that's not even the end. Because while all this is going down, the trial, the lies, the breakup, the possible pregnancy, Ginny's out here fighting her own battles. And I've gotta say, her story this season? It hit hard. She's been through it, from therapy to heartbreak, from self-harm to healing. And in season 3, she finally starts to rebuild herself. She opens up to her friends. She shares her struggles. She even submits a poem, something super personal, to this contest. And not only does she win, but when she reads it out loud to the school, she owns it. Like, she really owns it. You can see it in her eyes. She's finally not hiding. But even though she's healing, even though she's growing, you can tell Ginny's still carrying something. There's a weight behind her smile. Because while she's trying to move forward, the past just won't leave her alone. And part of that past? Marcus. Yeah. That Marcus. The boy who gets her like nobody else ever could, but also the boy who broke her heart and broke himself in the process. Marcus is not okay. Like, not even a little. He's slipping. He's drinking. He's depressed. And the worst part? No one really sees it until it's too late. He starts skipping school. His grades tank. He pushes everyone away. And when Max, his twin, the one person who's always known how to read him, tries to get help, he sees it as betrayal. He just spirals. There's this scene, I can't even describe it without getting chills, where Marcus breaks down. Not in some dramatic, shouty way. But quietly. Honestly. He just says, I don't hate you. I just hate me. And man. That line sticks. Because it's not about blame anymore. It's about pain. And how sometimes, the person you're fighting hardest is the one inside your own head. Eventually, his mom, Ellen, realizes they can't do this alone. She sends him to rehab. And watching him leave, totally unwilling, totally numb. It's heartbreaking. But it's also a glimmer of hope. Like maybe this is the start of something better. Maybe he'll get the help he needs. Maybe there's still a way back. Meanwhile, Ginny tries to move on. She meets Wolf, this new guy from her poetry class. He's sweet, different, doesn't carry all the emotional chaos of Marcus. At first, it's fun. It's light. But then it gets serious. Ginny finds out she's pregnant. And just like her mom, she's faced with an impossible decision. She chooses to terminate the pregnancy. Quietly. On her own. And afterwards, she pulls away from Wolf. She doesn't shut down, not completely, but she goes back into that shell. You can feel how much she wants peace. But peace, in this family, never comes easy. Especially when your mom just walked free from a murder trial, and your little brother's carrying the lie that saved her. Now, while all that chaos is happening with Ginny's family, her friend group, it's falling apart too. You'd think after everything, they'd hold each other tighter. But nope. Mong, that's Max, Abby, Nora, and Ginny, they've been toxic for a while. But this season? It's like watching a slow, painful collapse. And it starts with Abby. Abby's been holding in this huge secret, she's dealing with bulimia. And no one knows. Not even her closest friends. She's hiding it behind her jokes, her makeup, her fake smiles. But Ginny starts to notice something's off. Nora too. So they do something risky, they open up. Ginny talks about her self-harm. Nora talks about the pressure she's been feeling. They basically put their hearts on the table just to say, you're not alone. And for a moment, it works. Abby finally admits the truth. She's hurting. She's scared. She feels invisible in her own house after her parents' divorce. And that honesty? It bonds them. For a second, it feels like the group might actually grow stronger from this. But then there's Max. Max is out here feeling totally left behind. She's struggling with her own stuff, her breakup, her identity, the fact that no one's really listening to her. And instead of opening up, she lashes out. She says everyone's fake. She storms off. And just like that, Mong is in pieces. Again. Max also breaks up with Silver, and it's not some big dramatic moment. It's quiet. Almost cold. Silver's like, you're too much, And Max just shuts down. And when Sophie, her ex, tries to come back into her life, Max says no. Not because she doesn't still feel something, you can tell she does, but because she's tired of being someone's second choice. And honestly, that's growth. Messy growth, but still growth. So yeah, by the end of season 3, everyone's splintering. The Miller family. The friendships. The relationships. It's like everything's breaking at the same time. But somehow, it doesn't feel hopeless. It feels real. Like this is the storm they had to go through to get to something better. If they even can.